From scrap to salvation. The Meridian salvage yard orbited the gas giant Elysium like a metallic halo of forgotten dreams. Against the swirling amber clouds of the planet below, thousands of derelict vessels hung suspended in the void. Civilian transports, cargo haulers, military cruisers, all abandoned to the endless night. This was where ships came to die, where the once proud vessels of 100 species were stripped for parts before being consumed by the planet's crushing gravity. Commander Maya Chen stood at the viewport of her salvage ship, the Opportunity, her dark eyes scanning the vastness of the graveyard. At 42, she had spent half her life among these wrecks, breathing recycled air that always carried the faint tang of metal and ozone. The sleeves of her jumpsuit were rolled up, revealing forearms mapped with scars from years of working with jagged metal and unpredictable tech. "We got a ping," Commander called Rask, her Silurian navigator. His scaled skin shimmered under the harsh deck lights as his six-fingered hands danced across the console. "Sector 17 Delta. It's faint, but it's there." Maya leaned forward, studying the readout. Power signature. Minimal. Whatever it is, it's nearly dead. But the pattern. Rask's reptilian eyes widened. It's Terran military. Old Terran. The bridge fell silent. Old Terran ships were rare finds. Most had been decommissioned or destroyed during the Unification Wars decades ago. The technology they contained was often incompatible with modern systems, making them near worthless in the salvage market. "How old?" Maya asked, already calculating the fuel expenditure against the potential profit. "Dating the signature now," said Ilara, the ship's AI, her voice calm and collected. A holographic display materialized above the console, showing a wireframe model of a massive vessel, approximately 87 years. Dreadnought class. Registry identifies it as the TDS Defiance. Maya felt her heart skip. The Defiance? That's impossible. It was reported lost with all hands during the Battle of Proxima. "Evidently not," remarked Dario, her chief engineer, a stocky man with a cybernetic eye that constantly recalibrated as he studied the readout. The Defiance was the prototype for the Harbinger class. Top of the line for its time, built to fight the Coalition. "And now it's nothing but scrap," said Maya, but there was a gleam in her eye that her crew recognized. It was the look she got when she saw potential where others saw only junk. "Rask, plot a course. Let's go see what's left of this ghost ship." The Opportunity maneuvered through the debris field, its maneuvering thrusters firing in short bursts. The salvage vessel was itself a patchwork creation, originally a Centaurian cargo hauler that Maya and her crew had modified over the years, adding components from a dozen different species ships. It was ugly but efficient, just like his crew. As they approached Sector 17 Delta, the Defiance came into view. It was massive, at least twice the size of the Opportunity, with a distinctive arrowhead design. Its hull was scarred with impact craters and scoring from energy weapons. Several sections had been breached, exposing the interior to vacuum. Despite the damage, there was something majestic about the old warship, a testament to human engineering and determination. "Look at the size of those gun emplacements," whispered Cora, their security chief. The former mercenary whistled appreciatively. "Those aren't defensive weapons. The Defiance was built to hunt. And now it's our prey," said Maya. "Prep for EVA. I want to see what she's got left." Hours later, Maya floated through the cavernous engine room of the Defiance, her flashlight illuminating dust motes that hung suspended in the Zerog environment. The ship's artificial gravity had failed decades ago, but the hull integrity was better than expected. Many of the interior compartments were still pressurized, protected by emergency bulkheads that had sealed automatically when the ship sustained damage. "Commander, you need to see this," called Dario over the comm. His voice was tinged with excitement, a rarity for the usually stoic engineer. Maya pushed off from a bulkhead, propelling herself toward Dario's coordinates. She found him in what appeared to be the main engineering lab, surrounded by holographic displays, he had managed to power up using portable generators. "What am I looking at?" she asked, anchoring herself to a console. The Defiance wasn't just a warship, Dario said, his cybernetic eye whirring as it zoomed in on the schematics. It was an experimental platform. "These designs, they're like nothing I've ever seen. The ship has adaptive systems, not just self-repair, but actual evolution capabilities." Evolution? You mean it can learn? Not just learn. It can physically reshape components based on need. The hull is composed of nanomaterial that can be reconfigured on the molecular level. The weapon systems can adapt to counter enemy defenses. Dario shook his head in wonder. This technology is decades ahead of what we have now. The Coalition must have targeted this ship specifically because they feared what it could become. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "Can we salvage it?" Dario hesitated. "The core systems are intact. The AI mainframe is in hibernation mode, but with enough power, we might be able to revive it. As for the rest," he gestured to the damaged surroundings, "it would take years and resources we don't have." "Unless we don't strip it," Maya said slowly, an idea forming. "What if we claim it?" Dario blinked. "Claim it? As in, take possession of a military vessel? That's illegal under Galactic Council law. We'd need special dispensation. And they'd never. They might, if we appeal to the right people. The Vraxians have been hitting the outer colonies hard. The Council fleet is stretched thin." Maya's eyes were bright with possibility. A dreadnought, even an old one, could make a difference. "You're serious," Dario realized. "You want to recommission a nearly century-old warship." "I want to save it from being scrapped," Maya corrected. "Whether it flies again, that's up to the Council. But first, we need to see if the central AI is still functional. Without that, this ship is just a very large paperweight." 3 days later, Maya stood in the dimly lit bridge of the Defiance, watching as Dario and Ilara worked to connect their generators to the ship's dormant systems. The bridge was a marvel of engineering, a vast, semicircular space dominated by a command chair surrounded by tactical stations. Unlike modern vessels, which relied heavily on holographic interfaces, the Defiance had physical controls, buttons, switches, and tactile displays designed to function even under heavy electronic warfare. "Ready to initiate startup sequence," announced Ilara, her holographic form flickering beside the main console, diverting power to the AI core. The lights dimmed momentarily, then power surged through long dormant conduits. Displays flickered to life, bathing the bridge in a soft blue glow. There was a low hum, building in intensity, and then a deep, resonant voice filled the chamber. "System restart initiated. Scanning. Unknown users detected. Security protocols engage." Suddenly, the lights turned red, and armored panels slid down over the viewport. Maya felt a jolt of panic as she realized they were now sealed inside. "This is Commander Maya Chen of the salvage vessel Opportunity," she called out, keeping her voice steady. "We are not hostile. We found your ship abandoned in a salvage yard." There was a pause, then the AI spoke again. "Scanning historical records. Chronometer reads 87 years, 4 months, 11 days since last active duty. Battle of Proxima resulted in critical damage and emergency jump to present coordinates. All crew evacuated or deceased. I am Athena, Command I of the TDS Defiance." The security panels retracted, and the lighting returned to normal. Maya exhaled slowly. "Athena," she said, "what is the current status of the Defiance?" "Hull integrity at 62%, propulsion systems at 17%, weapon systems at 43%, life support at 29%, power core at 11% capacity. The ship is non-operational by military standards, but the adaptive systems remain functional." Maya exchanged a glance with Dario. Adaptive systems. The Defiance was equipped with experimental technology allowing for system reconfiguration and improvement based on encountered threats. Due to power conservation protocols, these systems have been dormant since the Battle of Proxima. And if we restored power? Maya asked. The adaptive systems would resume function. The Defiance would begin self-repair and improvement. However, without proper resources and technical expertise, progress would be limited. Maya felt a smile spread across her face. We might be able to help with that. The journey to the Galactic Council station at Arcturus took 2 weeks. The opportunity towed the massive dreadnought, its engines straining against the immense weight. Maya had spent the time preparing her case, gathering all the data they had recovered from the Defiance's computers. The reception was exactly as she had expected. Absolutely not, declared Councillor Vex, his feline features twisted in disdain. The Felician representative looked down from his elevated seat in the council chamber. The salvage rights to derelict military vessels are clear. The Defiance must be surrendered to council authority for proper decommissioning. Maya stood her ground before the assembled representatives of the 12 major spacefaring species. The Defiance isn't just any military vessel. It contains technology that could be vital in the fight against the Vraxian incursions. We've lost 3 colony worlds in the past year alone. And you think a human relic from a bygone era will change that? Scoffed Councillor Therax of the Mantodian hierarchy. The ship is obsolete. Its weapons couldn't penetrate modern shields. Its armor would crumble before modern weapons. That's where you're wrong, Maya countered, activating a holographic display. The Defiance was equipped with adaptive technology. It can evolve, improve itself based on the threats it faces. It's already begun self-repair using materials we've provided. This caused a stir among the council members. Even if that were true, said Councillor Zara of the Aquilian Republic, her translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent skepticism, who would crew such a vessel? It would require hundreds of trained personnel. Not necessarily, Maya said. The ship's AI, Athena, is fully functional. She can operate most systems autonomously. My crew and I have already begun learning the rest. Your crew? Vex laughed derisively, a handful of salvagers playing at being soldiers. This is absurd. Maya felt her temper flare. My crew consists of veterans from the Rim Wars, former military engineers, and specialists in adaptive technology. We may not wear uniforms anymore, but we know how to fight. The Council will deliberate on this matter, announced the chairperson, a towering Algorian whose crystalline body refracted the chamber's light. Until then, the Defiance will remain in impound at Arcturus Station. As Maya and her crew left the chamber, Dario fell into step beside her. That went well, he remarked dryly. About as expected, Maya replied. They see us as junk rats, not worth their time. And the ship? They see it the same way. Maya's expression hardened. But they're wrong about both. The attack came 3 days later. A Vraxian raiding party, 5 sleek, predatory ships that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, dropped out of hyperspace near Arcturus Station. Their energy weapons lashed out, cutting through the station's outer defensive grid before it could fully activate. Maya and her crew watched from the observation deck as the station's meager defensive fleet, 3 patrol cruisers and a handful of fighters, scrambled to intercept. They're outmatched, Cora observed grimly. The Vraxians have improved their shield harmonics since the last engagement. They watched as the first patrol cruiser fired its main batteries, only for the energy beams to dissipate harmlessly against the Vraxian shields. The return fire was devastating, slicing through the cruiser's hull like it was made of paper. We have to help, Maya decided. Rask, get us clearance to return to the Defiance. Dario, contact Athena. Tell her to prepare for emergency power-up. The Council won't authorize it, Rask warned. They will when they realize it's their only option, Maya said grimly. She was right. As the second patrol cruiser exploded under concentrated Vraxian fire, the Council granted emergency authorization. Maya and her crew raced through the station's corridors, reaching the docking bay where the Defiance was held. Athena, Status report, Maya called as they boarded. All systems at emergency readiness, the AI responded. Power core at 32% capacity due to conservation protocols. Weapons systems standing by. Adaptive systems fully operational. Can we fight? Maya asked, taking her position in the command chair. Affirmative, Commander. However, the Vraxian vessels possess technology that has evolved since my last combat data. Success probability is uncertain. Well, Maya said, strapping herself in as the massive engines began to rumble to life. That's about to change. Everyone to battle stations. Let's show them what this old girl can do. Kings of the Void. The Defiance moved with unexpected grace for a vessel its size. Thrusters that hadn't fired in nearly a century roared to life, pushing the massive dreadnought away from Arcturus Station and toward the ongoing battle. On the bridge, Maya watched as the tactical display updated in real time, showing the desperate plight of the station's defenders. Weapons status, she asked, her voice calm despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Main batteries at 60% capacity, reported Cora from the tactical station. Targeting systems calibrating. Missile tubes clear but ammunition limited. Athena. Analysis of Vraxian shield configurations. Processing, replied the AI. Their shields operate on a rotating frequency matrix, making them resistant to sustained energy weapon fire. However, their pattern is predictable, calculating optimal firing solution. The bridge of the Defiance was a hive of activity. Maya's crew, augmented by a handful of volunteers from the station, worked the various stations with growing confidence. Despite their disparate backgrounds, they moved with increasing coordination, united by a common purpose. Vraxian vessels are altering course, announced Rask. They've spotted us. 3 ships breaking off to intercept. They're curious, Maya observed. Good. Let's give them something to think about. Athena, activate forward batteries. Target the lid ship. Targeting, confirmed Athena. Firing solution established. Weapons hot. The forward section of the Defiance seemed to transform. What had appeared to be standard weapon emplacements began to shift, components realigning and reconfiguring. The adaptive systems were responding to the threat, optimizing the weapons for maximum effectiveness against the approaching enemy. Fire, ordered Maya. The Defiance unleashed its first volley in nearly a century. Lances of energy, pulsing with a distinctive blue-white light, streaked across space toward the lead Vraxian vessel. The enemy ship attempted to evade, but the Defiance's targeting systems were too precise. The beams struck the Vraxian shields, which flared brilliantly, but held. Direct hit, but no penetration, reported Cora. Their shields are adapting to our weapon frequency. As expected, said Maya calmly. Athena, how are the adaptive systems responding? Analyzing shield harmonics, the AI replied. Reconfiguring main batteries. Preparing secondary systems. The Vraxian ships returned fire. Dark energy pulses lashed out, striking the Defiance's hull. The massive ship shuddered under the impact. Hull integrity at 94%, reported Dario from the engineering station. Shields holding but degrading under sustained fire. Evasive pattern Delta, Maya ordered. Bring us about for another attack run. The Defiance banked, its massive bulk surprisingly nimble as it changed course. The Vraxian ships pursued, their sleek forms cutting through space like predatory fish. Main batteries reconfigured, announced Athena. Efficiency increased by 28%. Firing solution updated. Fire at will, Maya commanded. The second volley was different. The energy beams pulsed with a shifting frequency, adapting even as they streaked toward the enemy vessels. When they struck the Vraxian shields, they seemed to phase through, finding the resonant frequency that allowed them to penetrate. The lead Vraxian ship's shields collapsed, and the follow-up shots tore into its hull, causing a cascade of secondary explosions. Target neutralized, reported Cora, unable to keep the awe from her voice. The other 2 are breaking off, added Rask. They're regrouping with the main force. Maya allowed herself a small smile. They're reassessing. They've never encountered anything like the Defiance before. Commander, interrupted Athena, I am detecting a transmission from the Vraxian command ship. They are broadcasting to all frequencies. Let's hear it, Maya said. A harsh, clicking voice filled the bridge. It spoke in heavily accented Galactic standard. Attention, human vessel. Your resistance is noted. Your technology is interesting. We offer you the opportunity to surrender. Your ship will be studied. Your crew will be treated according to Vraxian customs, which means dissection and neural extraction, muttered Cora. Maya opened a channel. This is Commander Maya Chen of the Terran Dreadnought Defiance. We respectfully decline your offer. In fact, we have a counter-proposal. Leave this system immediately, or we will demonstrate exactly what this interesting technology can do. The response was immediate. All 5 remaining Vraxian vessels altered course, accelerating toward the Defiance. I think they took that as a challenge, remarked Dario dryly. Athena. Maya said, what's our status? Power core at 47% and rising. Adaptive systems have completed initial analysis of Vraxian technology. Weapons reconfiguration at 68%. Defense systems optimizing. There was a pause. Commander, I have accessed the ship's full capabilities. The Defiance was designed to adapt not just defensively, but offensively. With your permission, I would like to activate the Proteus Protocol. Maya hesitated. What exactly is the Proteus Protocol? It allows the ship to physically reconfigure its external structure for optimal combat efficiency. The process requires significant power, but will substantially increase our combat effectiveness. Maya looked around at her crew, saw the determination in their eyes, and nodded. Do it. Alarms sounded throughout the ship as power was redirected. The deck trembled beneath their feet, and through the viewport, Maya could see sections of the hull beginning to shift. Armor plates realigned, weapon emplacements repositioned, and the very shape of the ship began to change, becoming more streamlined, more aggressive. Proteus Protocol activated, announced Athena. Transformation at 40%, 60%, 80%, complete. Combat efficiency increased by 122%. All systems optimal. The Vraxian ships opened fire simultaneously, their dark energy weapons converging on the Defiance. But the Dreadnought's newly configured shields absorbed the assault, rippling with energy but holding firm. Return fire, ordered Maya. All batteries. Target their propulsion systems. The Defiance unleashed its full arsenal. Energy beams lashed out from dozens of reconfigured weapon ports, each calibrated to a specific frequency it would penetrate the Vraxian shields. Missiles launched from newly formed tubes, their guidance systems locked on to weak points in the enemy vessels. 2 Vraxian ships were hit immediately, their engines exploding in silent bursts of blue flame. A third took multiple hits to its central section, causing it to break apart. The remaining 2 attempted to retreat, but the Defiance pursued relentlessly. They're trying to reach hyperspace distance, reported Rask. Intercept course, Maya ordered. Athena, can we prevent their escape? Affirmative. Gravitational disruption field coming online. A new weapon system emerged from the bow of the Defiance, a complex array of emitters that began to pulse with a deep, resonant energy. Space itself seemed to distort around the fleeing Vraxian ships, preventing them from achieving the velocity needed for hyperspace entry. Trapped like rats, murmured Cora with satisfaction. The Vraxian commander's voice came through again, this time laced with something that might have been fear. Human vessel, we acknowledge your victory. We request terms for surrender. Maya leaned forward in the command chair. Return to your territory. Inform your leaders that Arcturus and its colonies are protected. If you return, the Defiance will be waiting. The Vraxian ships, now crippled and unable to escape, powered down their weapons. The battle was over. As the Defiance escorted the defeated raiders to the edge of the system, Maya received a transmission from Arcturus Station. Counselor Vex's feline features appeared on the main screen, his expression a mixture of disbelief and grudging respect. "Commander Chen," he said, "the Council has reevaluated its position regarding the Defiance. It seems we underestimated both the ship and its crew." "An easy mistake to make," Maya replied coolly. "We don't exactly look like traditional military." "Indeed." Vex cleared his throat. "The Council would like to offer you and your crew formal commissions. The Defiance would be reinstated as an active military vessel under your command, tasked with defense of the outer colonies against Vraxian incursions." Maya raised an eyebrow. "And salvage rights?" "You would retain ownership of the vessel, with Council support for repairs and upgrades," Vex conceded. "The technology aboard the Defiance is valuable. We believe it could change the balance of power in this ongoing conflict." Maya looked around at her crew, the misfits and cast-offs who had become a family, who had taken a forgotten relic and turned it into something formidable. She thought of the Defiance itself, a ship that had been abandoned to rust, but had instead been given new purpose, new life. "We accept," she said, "on one condition. We do this our way. The Defiance isn't just a warship, it's a home. My crew stays intact, and we maintain our independence." Vex looked like he wanted to object, but after a moment's consideration, he nodded. "Agreed. Report to Arcturus Station for formal commissioning when you've completed your current mission." After the transmission ended, Dario approached Maya. "So, we're military again." "In name, perhaps," Maya replied. "But we're still salvagers at heart. We took what others discarded and made it into something powerful." She placed her hand on the bulkhead, feeling the subtle vibration of the ship's systems. "The Defiance is proof that nothing is truly worthless if you can see its potential." On the main view screen, stars streaked by as the massive dreadnought cut through space. It tall, once scared and broken, now gleamed with purpose, reconfigured by technology nearly a century old yet more advanced than anything currently in service. The ship that had been mocked as obsolete, as useless, now stood as the vanguard of humanity's defense. And somewhere in the void, the Vraxians were spreading the word. Beware the humans and their impossible ship, the vessel that learns, that adapts, that cannot be defeated by conventional means. Beware the Defiance. Maya Chen smiled. This was just the beginning.